Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Nick Collier here, and we've got our shaft completed. And unfortunately, I couldn't find the camera when I was doing the final pieces of this. I'm going to bring this in close so you can see it. I did a radius here, and just a semi-radius there. You know, there's still a couple little weld spots there, but you know, this is for me. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be functional. So I cut the end off, and now as you can see, that end is a little cattywampus. We want to come in, square that up, and then this piece is ready to go, except for we're going to put a keyway in someplace along this shaft, this part of the shaft right here. So we've got to take the 4-jaw off, put a 3-jaw back on, put this in the 3-jaw and face that. So hey, stick with me. We're gonna take a 4-jaw off. Okay, so we've got a 60 thousandths bit. No, it's 160. 160. And we need to go to 190. I believe 190. Let's make sure. 190, yes. 190 and change. 194. So we're going to, first we're going to reverse it. We're going to drop this down and touch. This might be a bullnose bit. I didn't really look that close. Yeah, it definitely is. All right, we're gonna go find another bit. That's interesting. One side is bullnose. Either that or it's just chewed to shit. Okay, this side's good. Nice and sharp. We'll use it. Okay, there's 0. And we want to go down. 190 would be 50 and 40 would be 80. So, well, probably 90, I would say. We're going to take them 10 at a time just to see how things work. This is a very small bit. It's looking like it's cutting very nicely. All right, let's try 20. And we're going to answer that phone. All right, let's take it back and take another 20. Seems like it's taken 20 just fine. So here's we're at 50. Okay, let's see what that's going to look like. So it looks like this is going to be a bit wide. Not much though, it's a good snug fit. Okay, so we're going to go with this size here and just build ourselves a new key because this one is pretty much trash. And so we've got 190 on both sides. Yep, 192. And so far our width is 154. So we've got 32, which would be 16 on each side. So we're just going to zero our DRO out, and we're going to go 16, cut, and then 16 on the other side. So first thing we want to cut is the far side, because we want to climb cut this. Okay, now we're going to go 15 on the other side. All right, let's see what that's going to look like. Just about a little bit snug. So we're going to just take it another thou. Nice snug fit. I think we're going to do just fine. Okay, so we're set with this. We need to come back and put it together, and we're going to weld that plate on at this point. So we'll be back. Okay, we're ready to go to the next step, and that is to weld this plate. Let me grab the plate. Weld this plate to the base plate. And so before we do that, first thing we got to do is clean up the metal on the base plate. And then we want to come in and cut a V in this plate here, and also at the same time help warm up the plate a little bit so I don't have to use the torch as much. And then we come in and set the whole thing up and lock it in place, and then figure out where our plate's going to sit and go and weld it. So let's grind this first. Okay, we're going to take our spacer, or our shaft, put it where it wants to go. Back that up a little bit. You know what? Maybe we'll put some bluing on this. That might be a good idea. Just a couple little strikes across it. This is gonna go like that. You know, sit in there somewhere like this. And then we want to make sure that this is going to go on and sit in the right position. Aha! Not quite. So So something about right there looks pretty good. Now one thing we want to do is make sure that we're up and down good enough. Oops. New. Well, actually that doesn't matter. We can adjust that later. And we're just going to scribe a line just to keep us nice and even. Okay, so we got the plate all squared up on the motor mount. Now what we want to do is transfer punch these holes so we can drill them out. All right. I like to put a couple of circles around them, each one of them. That way I know where I'm at and I don't accidentally drill out the wrong punch or whatever. So, now let's take this up on the Bridgeport and, well, I don't know, maybe just the drill press. Yeah, the drill press would probably do the trick. Let's do that. All right, so we're going to drill these 4 holes out, and we're going to start with a little pilot drill. Well, we definitely need to move faster. Okay, we got all our holes drilled. Now let's go to 5/16, which is our tap size for 3/8. Little too fast. And I'll be back. All right, so we've got one hole tapped. Let's go for a second. And this is some pretty hard ass steel, so it's not that easy to tap these holes, but we'll do it. Okay, we got our holes drilled and tapped and ready for, let's give it a try and see how it's gonna go. So we'll slide this on. There we go. There it is. No, not quite yet. All right, we're drilled and tapped, and we're putting our bolts in, seeing how this thing faces up. Okay, YouTube, I thought about this thing overnight. I woke up early this morning and I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And the reality of it is if I weld this, I'm gonna do it from over here so you can see it. If I weld this, what is it, a 3/4 inch plate to a 1/2 inch plate, it doesn't matter how careful I am, that plate's gonna warp one way or the other, this way or that way. And then that's going to throw this off, and it's going to throw everything off. So I'm thinking, what it would be it certainly would be a lot more effort, and it would be more solid to take this thing back apart, flip this over, square up that bottom edge on the mill, and come back in and drill and tap these holes to bolt this to this plate. Now the fact is we got a 3/8 plate there at least, and that's not going anywhere. There's no pressure against it pushing and pulling. There's only spinning pressure. So I think we've got plenty of beef. We got plenty of meat to work with. So we're going to take this thing apart. We're going to pull this plate off and start out by squaring up that bottom edge so that it sits nice and flush. So, hey, hang in there with me. Okay, so we've got our plate of steel down, and we've got it locked down with a couple of toe clamps. We squared up this edge with the table, and now we're going to just drop our bit down and see how close we are. Oh, I already see one problem, and we're not going to have enough room. But you can see how far off that cut is. Notice how we're just cutting on one corner of that. Well, we almost have enough room. Let's bring this head out just a little bit. All right, well, we're about a ½ an inch short. We can get the main body of this and then just take the two ends and cut those just a little bit extra and get them to come down. Either that or just go straight in. Are we at 90? Yeah, well, we may not be at 90, so, and I'm not ready to juice that a little bit. So it looks like we're tapering in a bit too, so I want to kind of move just a smidge. Yeah, it's just about right. And the way I can tell is the cut from here to here is about the same as the cut from over here to here. It looks like it's about, well, it's just about perfect. We got just a little bit of a step right there. And so it's going to rest on this, and that's going to be up in the air a little bit. We'll just start our bolt pattern from over here and work our way in. Okay, so take this thing apart. And we've got ourselves a nice square edge to work from. Okay, so we've got our piece set up. We need to back it up just a little bit because we don't have any room there. So we're going to just snug it back. Loosen these up a bit. Just like maybe 1/8 of an inch. Snug these back down. Not tight, but just so that everything is kind of held in place. We're going to bring a square into this surface here, and I'm guessing that it's pretty square, but let's have a look. So we're just a little bit off. Drop it down. Too far. A little bit more down. Let's see what that looks like. Huh. Okay. Maybe if we tighten these up a little bit, it'll square up on that base. Yep. And almost. Let's see what this looks like. Ouch. We're going to spin the shaft and see if there's any binding going on. Yep, see it move? So there is binding. Now usually that means that somewhere in the squareness it's off. Boy, and it just doesn't seem like it. Just a little bit. Still moving. All right. Let's see what this side looks like. Boy, we are almost on the money. I'd say a little bit lower. Unfortunately, it doesn't want to go lower. Ah, there it is. We're off just a little bit. Let's get a hammer. Just tap it over. Okay, so what we've got is this plate here, for some reason, is slightly askew of the, and you can kind of see it. Can you see it? Let's see. Quite possibly. Let's come in closer. You see the little gap underneath there? So the plate is sitting that way just a bit. And the only way I can figure to work this is I'm going to tack two little welds right here and on the back side of that one on that side. Get this thing locked into place, and then we can kind of bang it out and get it to sit in the right place. And then, you know, because for some reason, I think this surface is out, we're going to have to probably go ahead and weld this to this plate. So one more left turn, and so let's go ahead and weld those two, or tack those two back corners and see what we can come up with. Interesting. I'm thinking it's possible that I face this plate, and it's possible we might be out from side to side. And that looks pretty good. We're out this way, and I can't get a decent reading off of this piece because it's all cast, and so there's no machined mark here that I can bounce off of. So I think maybe what we want to do is take off the pump, take off the shaft, take a reading from the shaft itself and see what we got. Let's try that.